All right, so I gotta say, um, I have to give a round of applause to Demetrius Shipp Jr. on his performance, as Tupac. Like, man, I mean, he is just as uncanny and just as phenomenal as you see in the trailers for this movie. Like, that's probably, man, that's probably the best casting, like for a biopic um, since O'Shea Jackson Jr. as his father Ice Cube in Straight Outta Compton. I mean, that's saying a lot to for me. And I heard that when Notorious came out, they were gonna try to do this in the Tupac biopic, or this movie back to back, like where it was gonna come be released around the same time, like I'd say like maybe the same year. And if that would have happened, then we probably would have seen Anthony Mackie, like in that role. And I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, like that's just something I've heard, but I'm just glad that did not happen. That we got this movie when we did, and we got the proper casting, like as for Tupac, because I mean Anthony Mackie is a fantastic actor, but he just didn't cut it for me, and like as Tupac in Notorious. And speaking of Notorious, that's cool how they got the actor who played Biggie Smalls. They got him back into this movie, and you feel that there is a little bit of a tie in there, like where it feels like it's Tupac's side of that whole thing that happened between those two, like how they had that fallout, and but I mean I thought that was done I thought it was done pretty well, even though I would have liked to see just a little bit more of it, just a little. And Denai Guerrero, she was also another favorite part of the movie of mine as well. I mean, she really embodied Afeni Shakur, like brilliantly in my opinion. And I don't understand what some of the reviews that I've watched right before I went to go see this movie. I mean, they weren't. I don't know. I mean, like it wasn't getting enough credit. Like how much I would think a movie about Tupac would get. I mean, like, and it's being treated well, and it's not by Lifetime, so I don't see what could go wrong with that if it's out of Lifetime's hands. You know what I mean? You know how they're really terrible with their like with their biopic movies. I mean, like, come on. I mean, like, if Aaliyah didn't show us that, then I don't know what will. But I mean, yeah. I mean, like, I didn't really have a serious problem with the movie. I mean, I thought it was done well, and I thought everyone who portrayed, like every single character in the movie, from Tupac, his mother, and I mean, I thought it was done really well. I mean, especially Tupac. I mean, like, I mean, if that failed, I mean, like, if the actor they chose, for the movie, if he didn't do a great job as Tupac, then the whole movie would just be a mess. But he definitely, yeah, he definitely killed it. He definitely he definitely channeled Tupac. Like, I feel like it was actually like he was actually there. I mean, it's just scary. And I thought that it was the same actor who we saw briefly in Straight Outta Compton, because he kind of looked like Tupac too. And then I saw that, okay, so that's not the same guy. So this is somebody else. And I am just glad that that this guy is playing him in this movie. Like, shit. I mean, like, and my nitpicks are very minor. Like, one is where it would cut to another part of his life, very quickly, and it seemed to do that quite a bit in this movie, where we're at this point, like, where I guess where he's a teenager, like where it's like in 1987, and like maybe we get 2 or 5 minutes into that, and then boom, like right to 1992 or something like that. And I would have liked to stay in those time periods just slightly a bit longer, just a little bit, and then we can cut right to it. I don't want. I mean, like it's like a 2.5 hour movie. I mean, like they could have pulled it off, but and my other nitpick is that that Snoop Dogg does make an appearance in the movie. Well, not the real Snoop Dogg, but they do have someone playing someone as Snoop Dogg in the movie. You know, when you see him a little bit, and you can clearly tell that he dubbed over the guy's voice. I mean, it's clear. I mean, you can just tell that Snoop Dogg, you know, basically, you know, his voice was dubbed over, you know, the actors as the actor is speaking in his scenes, and I guess that was probably for the best, but it felt obvious, you know, it felt obvious to me, but like at least in like Straight Outta Compton, I mean, I guess there were more. It felt more, I guess, genuine from that actor, but I guess they couldn't get this guy to sound like Snoop Dogg enough, and I guess and that's why they did that. I don't know, but I mean, that's not. I mean, those are really small nitpicks. I mean, like once you get past all of that, I mean, like this is still a good movie. I mean, it didn't ruin the experience for me, and thank God nobody in the theater ruined the experience for me. Like no one tried to do anything stupid. I mean, like everybody wants to see this movie. I mean, don't be that dude that messes, that decides to start trouble. Like while everybody wants to enjoy, this experience. I mean, come on. I mean, like they've done that in during the screening of Get Rich or Die Trying in my area, like at that time, and it was to the point where they pulled that movie out of the theaters of that particular movie theater. I mean, yeah, I know they've done that for like The Dark Knight Rises as well, like where there was a midnight screening and then someone, and then we know what happened, like there, that asshole, just messed it up for everyone and just put a lot of lives at risk, and everyone fought for, had everyone fight for their lives that night. But anyway, but yeah, I think it was for the best, that this movie came out, that this movie took a while to come, to be released when it did, and if that didn't happen, we wouldn't have gotten this guy to play Tupac. I mean, like we probably would have gotten someone else. He probably wouldn't have portrayed him as well as Demetrius Shipp Jr. did. So I can't praise this guy enough, and I can't praise Denai Guerrero enough. I mean, she's no stranger to playing strong, like female like a strong female. So she was perfect for this role, and I gotta say, the actor who plays Suge Knight in this movie, I think that's the most intimidating performance, like of him. Way more intimidating than Straight Outta Compton, in my opinion. Like every time he was in the room or if he was in the same scene, I felt uncomfortable. Like, I just felt uncomfortable with him being in the scene. I didn't feel that as much in Straight Outta Compton, thinking back on it. And you can feel it kind of. I feel like it sort of ties in with that movie, but it really doesn't, and it ties more in with Notorious since they brought the actor who plays Biggie Smalls back. But this movie basically mostly stands on its own, but it feels like it sort of ties in with Notorious. Because, with, like I said, the actor, coming back and reprising the role. And I did not know that this is his third time playing playing Biggie Smalls. I thought this was his second time coming back, but I went on this IMDb page, it was his third time. So, like, I didn't see it, the second time he was this, his second or his first time reprising that role. So, but yeah, I really believe that, I never really was a heavy like a heavy follower of Tupac. I mean, I just knew of him through through high school, through middle school and high school, like where people in my class, other students in my classrooms would basically educate me as I hear them have conversations about his music or what he's doing and what's going on with him and Biggie Smalls and etc. And to where he was killed and all of that. I mean, that was basically my, I guess, my acknowledgement of Tupac as a person. I mean, of course, I heard his music, and California Love is my first song. Like, I think that was my introduction to Tupac, that I can remember. But as far as him as a person, I mean, like, a lot of kids in school, that's where I would hear everyone talk about him, and that's how I knew of him. And I feel like I knew a little bit more of him, like once I saw this movie. And but I can't, just front and say like, yeah, I know about Tupac. I'm like where I know everything about him. You know what I mean? I mean, I just can't do that. I think that would be disrespectful to his memory, and it would be basically an insult, to many of you fans as well. And and I felt like I do feel like I know a little bit more about him after seeing this movie, even though I feel like some time periods of his life could have been stretched out just slightly longer, but it was still good. And especially with Kidada Jones, like I would have liked to seen a little bit more of his relationship with her. And but I mean, it was still done well. And but I believe that if you really are a true fan of Tupac, I think you will enjoy this movie. And maybe some of you, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think don't pay attention to people who said they didn't like the movie. I'd say, check it out for yourself and let you decide from there. I mean, I get why some people said they didn't like it. And but it's nowhere near as bad as they say it is, in my opinion. But with all being said, I guess I would say this gets 4 chair spins out of 5. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4 solid chair spins. But I'd say I don't know if I would say it's the best biopic movie. But hey, it could have been worse. It could have been, Anthony Mackie playing the character. Like if this came out like years ago, like years before, or hell, this could have been worse. It could have been on Lifetime. So, with a biopic like this about Tupac, it's getting the treatment that it deserves overall. So I'd say if you want to go see it, go see it. Ignore what people say. See it for yourself and let just just go by your own judgment. You know what I mean? And see it, and then you can see if you agree with those who say, "Oh, I didn't like the movie." But I thought it would get more love than it's actually getting. But then again, nothing's perfect. Some people are not gonna like it. Some people don't like Straight Outta Compton. I mean, that's everything. But I'd say check it out for yourself. I mean, I'd say it's worth the experience. But if you guys enjoyed my review on this movie, make sure you thumb up the video, click subscribe if you're a newbie to the channel, and thank you for watching. And feel free to tell me what is your favorite biopic movie so far. I'm torn between Straight Outta Compton and the TLC movie. But yeah, I mean, like this would fit right there too, because I mean, hey, I mean, Demetrius Shipp Jr. I mean, he basically made the movie worthwhile. So yeah, like I said, go see this movie, and then you decide from there if you don't like it or not. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, y'all.